welcome back to Potions and Pots. I first started with essential oils, and gosh, I can't remember. My grandchild, my oldest is 5, and I started with oils before then, so I'm going to say I've been doing this for a really long time, and I'm usually making them up, like I say, 3 at a time. This is my 3-day. This is my husband's grill bottle. You can see it's all worn. This is mine. I need a new one for the kitchen because he stole my one from the kitchen to put in the basement in his shop. So I'm going to make up a fresh one today, and we can start from there. Now, I did not put a label on this, and let me show you what I do have. I don't know if you have one of these, but these are cool because it's a label maker, and I think I just got it at Walmart. And the reason it's cool is because the labels are on plastic. So if it were to get wet, you know, in whatever circumstance, you're not going to lose what it is. So I kind of like that label maker. And then I usually always put, if it has one of my Potions and Pot stickers, I don't know if you can see that, if it's clear or not. It'd be really cool if you could. I don't know if it'll focus. There you go, Potions and Pots, that's my sticker. So I know when I see my sticker on there and this, then I know it's mine. And so does everybody else. All right, so on this I didn't write, I'm not putting a label on this, but I usually write it on the back so that I know what's in here, and I always like to write across it. I mean, you know, this is household cleaning stuff, folks. This isn't rocket science. Just write what it is, all-purpose cleaner. This one, as you can see, it's like, I probably should give the old man a new label. Well, we may. But anyway, to the all-purpose cleaner, all right? And I'm going to use the same little funnel. I am going to add Thieves Household Cleaner. Now remember, that was the boost that we put in the laundry detergent. And the recipe calls for 2 caps of this Thieves all-purpose. And I like to give everything a fresh shake. So and this is a 32-ounce spray bottle. You can get them online, you can get them at the dollar store, you can get them at Walmart. There's a million places. They're very inexpensive. I think I got them at Costco one time too. So there's 1, 2. All right. So my all-purpose household cleaner, there's step 1. Step 2, I like to add to this a splash of just plain rubbing alcohol. And I don't know if you've realized, but rubbing alcohol comes in different percentages, anywhere from 70% to 90%. There's all different ranges. I like to go with the middle for the individual household things. And let me tell you why I add alcohol. Alcohol is quick drying. When I was in private practice, before they came through with all that fancy cleaner, toxic chemicals that they make you clean tabletops and things off in an office, we used just straight alcohol. We had alcohol in spray bottles, and all of our countertops, our stainless steel, table cushions, we sprayed them with alcohol and then just wiped them down. So, well, alcohol, yes, it is a fabulous antimicrobial, but in this case, what we noticed over time, and everybody pretty much is aware of this, alcohol dries like this. So if you put alcohol on a surface, it will dry quickly. And when you have little kids around or whatever, cleaning your grill, whatever, cleaning the countertops, you don't want to have to stay there and wipe and wipe and wipe. Put a little alcohol, it causes it to evaporate really quickly, and you can get on to your next task. I'm all about working smart, not hard. So what I'm going to add to, because again, this is only going to be like 32 ounces, I'm just going to add a splash. 1, 2, that's probably a tablespoon of alcohol. The next thing I add, and I do this again with purpose, everything I do, I've said a million times, I do with intent. The purpose of witch hazel is it will actually break down, or I shouldn't say break down, let's say break apart. It will actually break apart the essential oils. So the household cleaner has Thieves and a bunch of other essential oils in there. Well, I don't want them. If you've ever used a diffuser, I'm sure you've seen those little oil drops kind of stay together. And it's only through the purpose of the process of diffusing the ultrasonic diffusing, that the actual fragrance is released and it goes into the air. Well, we don't have the benefit of a diffuser in an all-purpose cleaner. So if you add a splash of witch hazel, it breaks apart those oils and you get the benefit of them working individually, and then also makes it easier to blend in the container. So for the same purpose, a splash. I'll go 1, 2, 3, probably a tablespoon. And that's it. I mean, how easy is that? Fill it up. Can you believe there's only that few ingredients in this? And this, I'm telling you, this all-purpose cleaner, it'll change your life. It's fabulous. It's safe. We use this on high chairs. We've used this on kids' toys. I used it on their little playhouse. You know, when a kid gets sick through your house, holy mackerel, stop, get the disinfectant. And so I just grab this, and especially someone comes into your home and they've got a cold. And you know, it takes 3 days to catch a cold, 3 days to have it, and 3 days to give it away. So again, that power of 3. If you or someone in your family comes down with a cold, get a rag and start spraying your doorknobs, your handles, your surfaces, anything that people might touch, the remote control, get a damp cloth, give it a little spray, and that will definitely cut down the germs on the surface. So there you go. And with this, again, give it a shake. This has a really nice smell, I have to say. This is pretty cool. So I'll do that again 3 times. That's my second project. So now we're down to number 3. And number 3 project, this is kind of an easy one. This bottle of M-Grain for Young Living uses this, or their research shows them that this is really good for people that suffer from headaches or migraines. And I'm not saying that I'm treating, curing, diagnosing. I'm a nurse, not a doctor. I'm a nurse, not a lab. But these are things that we use in our house in those kind of situations. And of course, it's filtered out to my friends and family. So again, this is really expensive because it's highly concentrated, and I don't have my glasses on, but there's like a zillion things in here, and you can look it up online or go to the Young Living site. And so what I do is, because my friend has a daughter who has just gone off to college, and it's actually her granddaughter. She suffers from migraines as well as grandma. So she's afraid that she's going to lose it or something, and having to spend over $50 is a lot. So I told her I'd buy one and they'll get 2 for 1. So I'm not doing anything other than transferring it into a smaller bottle that I've labeled with my label, and on the back it says M-Grain. And again, it's an oil, so we're going to give it a little mix. And I'm going to, if you look on the top of your oils, there's that little, applicator, and it allows it to dispense 1 drop at a time. But for this purpose, I'm not going to do that. I want to get it out there quickly. So where's my little funnel? Yay! Oh, here it is, because that's the big one. All right, so I'm going to take another and just pour it in here. And then this is kind of hard to see because, again, it's that cobalt. But I'm going to kind of hold this up into the light here. And I see where I'm at here, and I'm going to pour half the bottle in. Where am I? Not quite. Yeah, a little bit more. That'll do it. And let me see. Here's we don't use paper towels. That's another thing, saving the environment. And I'm going to, this acts as a paper towel, by the way. It's one of the Norwex products. And you use them for everything. And then I wash, I think there's 5 of them in the set. And so once a week, they all get washed once. All right, this now, and this bottle, they've both been rubbed down, because you don't want any oil on the top, because if not, if you do leave it, you'll have a leak. So what I do is also, you can purchase all these kinds of things. You can get them either from Young Living, you can get them on Amazon, you can also get them, I think Molly Burnett, My Early Habit has them, but they're roller rollerballs on the top. And let me tell you something, essential oils eat plastic. So and I do have these that are totally plastic, and within a month, the ball doesn't move or the ball has fallen in because it has essentially eaten the plastic. So if you're going to use anything with straight oils in them, be sure to use glass only because it will eat the plastic, and make sure your roller balls are metal. So since I've touched that with my my hands, I am now got it cleaned off, and you just pop it on and you'll hear the click. There. No, that didn't go on. There you go. All right. And so that's, and I will do the same thing with this one. Again, it's just a little rollerball. They're wonderful. And when what we use what we do when we have anybody has a headache in our family, we'll take these. There, did you hear that? That one was a lot louder than this one. I don't know what happened to this one. We'll take, there you go. And I don't want to use this, obviously, because this isn't mine. Put your screw top on. We'll pretend the screw top is off. Now, say someone has a headache. I do it two ways. Sometimes just shaking up the bottle and just taking a whiff. Take it all in, a big breath. Use your yoga breath. And then hold it on the third one and let it out slowly. Sometimes that's enough for a minor headache. If not, you can actually take your roller bottle, roll it on your wrists, okay? Roll your wrists together. Now there's a pulse point there. Take that pulse point and you can put it behind your ears. You could put it, just keep rubbing it, and then you just whiff from your wrist. The other thing that you can do is take the roller bottle to the top of your finger, rub it together, and rub and massage the temples right here. Another thing that you can do, again, have a little bit here, put it under your nostrils, across your top lip. So you're constantly inhaling this. I know several people, family and friends, that use this, and every one of them have said within 15 minutes their headache is gone. So you might want to give it a try, because guess what? I'll take this any day over Advil, Tylenol. I have no use for Tylenol. Any of those, I would much rather, any of those over-the-counter medicines, I would much rather try this route first. And I'm the first to say, yes, sometimes you need those over-the-counter medicines, and sometimes you need the intervention of a medical professional, but why not start here? If you start at the top and it doesn't work, where are you going to go? But if you start at the first layer, natural, home-based, start at that first level and build as you need it. All right, so that's now our third project for today. And our final project is not really a project, it's just transferring into a bottle, but I've been talking a little bit about tinctures. And I've also been talking, if you've watched my YouTube videos, motherwort. You know I have such an affinity for motherwort. And I've also talked about, no, I don't think I've talked about hawthorn yet, but I also make a hawthorn tincture. Hawthorn, this is made with the leaves, the flowers, and the berries. And this is also cardioprotective. And as I've said before, there's genetic cardiac issues in my husband's family and into our children as well. And so they've all been supported with the hawthorn tincture. And I take it myself because, as if you watched my motherwort video, you know that when a woman goes through her menopausal years, the crone years, we don't have the protection of the umbrella of estrogen. So anything that we can do to keep our heart healthy, which is motherwort, and like I say, I take the hawthorn as well. I take a tincture of these every day. But and I don't keep them in these great big bottles because that just doesn't work on my countertops or in my cupboards. These are from my storage in my apothecary. But this is my daily bottle. of my motherwort tincture. And when I'm low or empty, I will, I take the bottle, I take all the labels off, and I boil it so it's sterile. So it's the same kind of procedure that you would do, because you don't want to introduce any bacteria that may have grown on the sides over time, because this bottle probably lasts me 2 to 3 months before probably 2 months anyway, sometimes 3. Some days you just don't do it. And I get that. It's called life. But I don't want any issues with contamination, because I'm putting this in my body for a good reason, and I certainly don't want to cause any kind of an adverse event. So I always re-sterilize my bottles. I boil my tops. And yes, these are rubber, so they can withstand a 3-minute boil. And the other thing is, when you do boil or to reuse your bottles, this is an awesome tip. Yes, you use, of course, boiling hot water. Then you take them out when you usually use tongs, and you set them upside down to dry from the inside, or drip out, okay? And that dries the outer surface. Well, there may be water inside the bottle. And again, I've said several times, water is not a friend to these herbal things that we use over time. Water creates an environment where bacteria, fungus, mold, or just to spoil it. So it's really, you want to make sure that the inside of your bottles, after you've cleaned them and sterilized them in the water, you want to make sure that they're good and dry. So what I do is, in my, I have a gas oven, and it doesn't matter if you have a gas oven, doesn't matter what kind of oven you have. Lay them on their side, and at any given time you'll see my oven with the door like open like this, and I will have all my bottles in there, and I will have my temperature set at 200 degrees. Depending on the amount of, depending on the temperature in the house. If the house is really cold, like it's coming into fall now, so I may bump that temperature up to maybe 225, 250. But in the summertime, you don't need more than that. And lay them in there on their side for about 20, 25 minutes, and it will dry the inside of the bottle. I'm not big onto the hair. I know some people say, oh, just get the hair dryer. No, because you're blowing any of the air in the environment. What if somebody's out mowing their lawn, and that air, somebody just walks in at the same time you're trying to blow dry the inside of a bottle, and next thing you know, you don't know what's inside your bottle. If you take it from the pot, drain, to the stove, the oven, then you know it's going to be completely dry. So this was done earlier today. My husband will sometimes come home and say, oh, what are we having? Oh, bottles. We're having bottles for dinner tonight. He's so used to this stuff, but at any given time, you never know what it's going to be like here. All right, so now it's basically, I just wanted you to understand how I go through that process. So the next thing I'm going to do is, again, you can't see with this darkness, but at the bottom, because this is a pure natural product, at the bottom you will see sediment, and that's perfectly natural, and it is perfectly edible. But what it is the settling out over time, because you realize the solution is an herbal-based solution, and there's always going, no matter how fine the herbs have been ground down, there's still going to be a residue, or like a powdery substance that's left behind. And even though it's been filtered, it's been strained through cheesecloth, no matter how you strain your herbs at that time, there's always going to be sediment. I mean, even in a $100 bottle of wine, there's red junk at the bottom. That's the way it is. Sediment comes out of the solution, and it's heavier, so it will set at the bottom. And what I'm trying to say is that it's good. It's not a bad thing, okay? So what I would do, and what I do every time, is you give it a mix up, okay? Because now I want it back in suspension. I don't want it sitting at the bottom so that the last bottle of motherwort that I pour is solid. I don't want that. I want it dispersed throughout the solution, and that is called putting it back into suspension. That's the first thing you do. The next thing you do is, when you open it up, I want you to smell it. It should smell, and over time you'll know what it smells like. It smells perfectly good. If you have an off odor, and you will learn, like I say, over time, you're going to learn what all these things should smell like. They're also, my tinctures and most of the tinctures I make are alcohol based. That's what I use to extract the constituents from the herb. So not only will I have the aroma of the herb, I'm going to have that bite at the end of the alcohol. And I think with this particular one, this is vodka. All right, this is just a plain clear vodka. And I never ever use the flavored stuff. Absolutely never ever. Why add things that are possible contaminants? So this is, I know by smell. And then you look inside, and you look inside your cap. Okay, so we have no growth. We have no mildew. We have no mold. We're not smelling anything off. And don't be afraid to give it a good smell. This is perfectly fine. And now I'm just going to fill up my bottle. Because don't forget, you want to be absolutely positively sure. Because why? It's going into your body. I think I might have filled this. Oh, perfect. Oh, I can add just a little bit more. This is when you feel like the mad scientist. Now, before you do anything, cover your main jug. Because if you spilled this, like I know right now, this is all I've got left. My entire supply of motherwort is gone. I have used all of it. And the stuff that the motherwort that I harvested the other day, that's going to start my next tincture. And that has to start this week. And again, though, that's going to take 6 weeks to come to where I need it to be. So I'm going to be really careful about that. Again, cover and clean. And again, you always look at your dropper, make sure everything's clean. And let me show you what a dropper full of this tincture actually looks like. There you go. Can you see it? That would be 1 dropper full. And I do take 1 dropper full every single day as a cardioprotective and as a pelvic bowl. This supports the pelvic bowl of the female reproductive system, whether you got everything intact or not. So let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I hope to see you again in the future. And bye-bye from Potions and Pots. Have a blessed day.